This is the KDLT Sports Gridiron Preview Show.
And welcome to the KDLT Gridiron Preview. I'm Mark Ovenden. He's Zach Borg, and believe it or not, the season starts later this week in both high school and college.
Over the next half hour, we'll talk about the college teams in our area and also what to expect in the high school ranks. But before we can move forward, we have to look back.
Hey, 2015 gave us a lot of unforgettable sights, sounds, and moments. Here's a look back at some of them.
I don't know what's coming. Let's go. All American. Get us up. All American. Get us up.
You're going to play this like it's going to be over after the next play.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah. Whoa! Let's go.
You guys make sure that you leave this thing with nothing left in it. You be proud of what you just did.
Come out and make a statement. Hit squad on three. 1, 2, 3.
Hit squad.
Jackrabbits have won their first ever game against an FBS foe.
For time, Smith and up for the ball. Touchdown.
Augustana has got the key to the city. Under pressure, still up, throws. Touchdown, Augustana. 33-yard attempt for Bergner for the win. It's on the way, and it is
Well, speaking of Go Yotes, we start with a look at our two Division I teams. And there will be new looks for both. In Vermilion, a brand new head coach to replace the retired Joe Glenn. He brings with him kind of a calm demeanor, an impressive bio, which includes 2 national titles at Minnesota Duluth, and a desire to see his new team winning a lot of games. Meet Bob Nielsen. Well, Bob Nielsen is the brand new head coach of the Coyotes here at USD. And Bob, it's kind of odd to go from one team in a conference to another team in a conference, especially when it's the Missouri Valley and you've got North Dakota State and all the powerhouses here. What attracted you to USD?
Well, it's a pretty unique place, a place that's making a substantial commitment to Division I sports and Division I football, and knowing some people here, David Herbster and David Williams, guys that I respect a lot in college athletics, just made it feel like it was the right place.
You've always been known as a rebuilder, putting the blocks back into place. How many of those blocks do you have to put back into place here?
Well, every situation I've been in is different. You know, there's a nucleus of players here that understand what it takes to play in big games and win big games in the Missouri Valley. But we've certainly got some work to do in terms of establishing the kind of depth that you have to have in a program that's going to compete year in, year out for a championship.
Keeping your team healthy, that's always been a big challenge for Joe Glenn and the staff that was here before.
Yeah, it's one of the things in the Valley and honestly in FCS football in general. You don't quite have the depth that you do with the 85 scholarship programs in FBS, and so you've got to build depth with some of your younger players, and at the same time you've got to keep your key people healthy throughout the course of the year.
Are you enjoying it so far?
Yeah, it's been great. People here are great. There's a tremendous amount of pride and passion among Coyote alumni across this state and around this region, and you know, we're going to work hard to build something special here.
And here's a look at how they, well, this is 5 key games that I picked out of their schedule. They start at New Mexico in the Pitt football version field, right? South Dakota State played at the Pitt a few years ago in basketball. And circle November 12th and November 19th. Zach?
Well, there's change of a different kind in Brookings, where John Stiglmeyer brings a talented Jackrabbit team into a brand new home. Coughlin alumni is gone, replaced by Dana J. Dykhouse Stadium. It took a cast of hundreds to make a place for a handful of Jackrabbits to call home.
On any given day, there's upwards 150 to 200 people working in there, and upwards around 400 that have worked on the project in total.
With the completion of the west side, the new Dana Dykhouse Stadium can hold 19,000. Mostly without bleacher seats.
All seats are going to be good seats. The really nice thing about this stadium, and all seats except for the student section have a back on them.
Unlike the 50-year-old Coughlin Alumni Stadium, there are no shortage of fan amenities, with plenty of concessions and bathrooms behind the grandstands, as well as 27 total suites.
We're now up to the capabilities of handling the amount of people that come to a game.
The Jacks will play on field turf, giving them a surface that will be consistent and unaffected by South Dakota weather. And the team will have significantly more room to work on the sideline.
We used to joke around about how people on our old grandstand side would kick us in the back of the head because they'd be sitting right behind our bench. And being able to play on this surface, it's awesome. It's actually flat. The other one was pretty much playing on a hill, so it's what everyone's going to. It's what we're used to, and it's pretty awesome.
Construction is complete. Now it's time for SDSU to build a home field advantage.
How special it is, and a bigger crowd and more energy. You have to be ready for that, and I think we will be. This is a mature football team.
And the Jackrabbits open up on September 3rd at TCU's ranked 13th in one of the polls. The first game in the new stadium against Drake University on the 10th, and of course a big one coming up on the 15th of October against NDSU. Now both USD and SDSU have quarterback issues, trying to figure out who's going to play. Not an issue at the Division II level. Well, with veterans returning, 2016 could well be the year of the quarterback in Division II at Augustana, Sioux Falls, Northern, and Southwest Minnesota State. The Cougars made the playoffs, but fell far short of their goals in 2015. They returned one of the top players in the Northern Sun. Luke Papillion won the 2014 NSIC Offensive Player of the Year award and is ready to cap a brilliant career by leading the Cougs deep into the playoffs. They are motivated after being snubbed from the postseason 2 years ago and then faltering down the stretch last season.
It was awesome that we made the playoffs. That was definitely a huge goal for us, but it wasn't our ultimate goal. So, ending in the first round and ending the way that last season ended definitely wasn't how we wanted it to go. We wanted to keep playing on to December just like every other team, but unfortunately last year we came up short. So that's definitely been a motivator for us this year, and we don't want that to happen again. This year it's definitely going to take a whole team effort to make it where we want to go, and hopefully be playing in December.
Now, the USF loss that turned around the season for both teams propelled Augustana to a great finish in 2015. They roared into the playoffs and finished with a 9-3 record, the best yet under Coach O. They lost C.J. Ham to graduation and hopefully the Minnesota Vikings, but they still have a 4-year starter, Trey Hyde, at quarterback with a cast of weapons. They are going to be fun to watch for sure, and for Trey, getting thrown into the first as a freshman has him ready for a big-time season to finish his career along with the other seniors who've been seeing really constant improvement.
I think we've learned and we've really grown up over the years. I mean, it's never easy going through a 4-7 year, especially when historically we've been good. So I think at that time we kind of reset everything, and even the next year we could have easily been 8-3. I think we went 6-5, and then this next year kind of came full circle, and now hopefully this year we're going to do bigger and better things because we're in a position to.
Now the Vikings finally beat USF in a thriller at the Bob last year. That will only make the rivalry even more intense in future meetings, and a lot is going to be at stake, I'm guessing, playoff-wise when they meet in 2016.
Now Augustana opens 2016 at home against Northern State on September 3rd. Tom Dodge has led a resurgence for the Wolves that saw them go 8-3 in 2014 and 6-5 last year, despite losing their first 4 games. The Wolves hope to get off to a better start this season now that sophomore quarterback Kyle Levand has had a full year at starter under his belt after throwing for nearly 2,100 yards and 16 touchdowns.
Speaking of throwing for yards, the Mustangs of SMSU have a former NFL quarterback, and Corey Sauter is their head coach. 2 years ago, they featured one of the top rushing attacks in the country and one of the best runners. Well, this year, their fortunes are going to depend on the arm of Blake Gimble. Over the years, the Mustangs have always had some great offenses, all the way back to the days of Jeff Lutz and Alvin Ashley. Gimble is the team captain. He was 3rd in the NSIC in passing yards. He set a school record last year. 67% of his passes threw for over 3,000 yards, 26 touchdowns, and only 7 picks. So you can see a lot is going to depend to the key of their success on his right arm. Well, stay with us. We'll talk NAIA college football. That is next on the KDLT Gridiron Preview.